Is JPMorgan being held accountable for enabling Jeffrey Epstein? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about JPMorgan Bank settling a lawsuit with the U.S. Virgin Islands for $75 million over their apparent enabling of Jeffrey Epstein, who was one of their biggest, most prolific clients for many, many, many years. Now, we live in the age of the cancel culture, right? Things weren't always this way, but they are this way right now. If you get accused of doing a thing that a particular company does not like, if you say a thing that a company does not like, you're able to get your entire presence from that company removed. So let's say you have a bank account somewhere and you get charged with a crime, no conviction, you just get charged with a crime, allegation, you get removed from that company, like a bank, like social media, like maybe even your place of residence. You live in an apartment or something like that, and they get together and say, this guy's got to get out of here. You might get canceled, removed from your place of residence because of a thing that you said or did, allegedly, not even necessarily proven. Now, Jeffrey Epstein went to prison or got sentenced. I don't want to say he went to prison because he had a different kind of jail sentence the first time he got locked up for child trafficking. But he actually got convicted of, I think, child trafficking many years ago before he got suicided, deleted, whatever you want to call it. And even after that, JPMorgan stuck by his side. They sure did. They stuck with him. So U.S. Virgin Islands is like, okay, what's going on? We're going to go ahead and launch a lawsuit against you for enabling this behavior. And this is what's going on right now. Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and get into the news clip. This will be available in the description box if you want to read it for yourself. Also, if you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Carl, JPMorgan says it has reached an agreement in principle to settle the Jeffrey Epstein sex predator litigation with the U.S. Virgin Islands with a payout of $75 million. The settlement ends a bruising episode in which each side accused the other of enabling Jeffrey Epstein's abuses and led to a series of embarrassing disclosures of relationships that high-ranking bank officials at the time had with Epstein himself, including one former executive who frequented Epstein's private island.
Wow. So JPMorgan, I wonder, okay, now it's starting to make sense. I see why JPMorgan would keep Jeffrey Epstein on even after he was convicted. Like, I ain't talking about just accused. He was convicted and served time the first time before he went back to prison and then wound up somehow deceased. I see why the bank stuck by his side, because they were in on what he was doing.
Now, the Wall Street firm says the payments will be divided into three categories. $30 million will go to USVI charities focusing on social ills, including fighting human trafficking and sex crimes. $25 million will go to the USVI to enhance the infrastructure and capabilities of law enforcement there. And $20 million will go toward legal fees.
It's kind of a shakedown, ain't it? Like, or is it just me? Maybe I'm just tripping. I don't really know.
In all of this. In a statement, JPMorgan says,
I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a way to hold back accountable. It just seems kind of strange where they're going to spend the money, but whatever. Let's keep on going.
That the settlement does not include an admission of liability, but the firm, quote, deeply regrets any association with this man and would never have continued doing business with him if it believed he was using the bank in any way to commit his heinous crimes.
But look, he went to prison the first time, and he had this same bank, and when he got out, he still had the same bank. So what are we saying here exactly? I'm having a hard time being able to figure it out.
Now, we don't have a statement yet from the USVI side of this, but we will be reaching out to them immediately for comment. The settlement amount of $75 million matches the amount that Deutsche Bank paid earlier this year to resolve a similar lawsuit that was brought by Epstein victims. Now, separately, guys, importantly, JPMorgan also says it has reached an agreement with its former executive, Jess Staley, to resolve JPMorgan's claims against him. Now, the terms of that agreement are confidential, so we don't know if Staley is paying JPMorgan or what amount that might be. Back over to you guys.
So there you have it. The bank, JPMorgan, is being held accountable for their association with Jeffrey Epstein. And we're going to get into the article here. Maybe we can glean a little more information. You see the headline: JPMorgan Chase settles Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking suit by U.S. Virgin Islands for $75 million. JPMorgan Chase said it will pay $75 million to settle a lawsuit by the U.S. Virgin Islands, alleging that the huge American bank facilitated and benefited from trafficking of young women by its longtime customer, Jeffrey Epstein. The deal comes months after a separate $290 million settlement by JPMorgan with victims of the now dead Epstein to end a similar lawsuit by one of those victims in the U.S. District Court in Manhattan. So they are paying out quite a bit of money as a result of the whole Epstein saga of being linked with and doing business with, and some of their executives hanging out and partying, quote unquote, with this man, Jeffrey Epstein. JPMorgan also said that it had reached a settlement with Jess Staley. That's the executive talking about this a while ago. So it was to resolve claims by JPMorgan that he was responsible for any civil damages and costs associated with Epstein-related litigation. Now, this guy, Jess Staley, was an Epstein friend. Now, is that the same person they were talking about that went to Epstein Island? I presume so. Now, okay, there's a settlement there, but shouldn't that guy be in prison? If you went to Epstein Island, you already know what time it is. So shouldn't you be in prison because you were partaking in that particular activity on the island? Oh, or you can just pay some money and it's all good. It just goes away. Okay. Epstein had been friends with Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, and Prince Andrew of Britain. Of course, I got to mention Trump in the whole situation. Did Trump go to the island? Now, I know Prince Andrew got caught up. Allegedly, he got caught up. And why don't I mention Bill Gates? Bill Gates was a frequent island visitor, wasn't he? Oh, him and Epstein flew together. So why not mention Bill Gates? It's pretty weird. So again, they say JPMorgan does not admit any wrongdoing, and then they get $55 million to Virgin Islands charities and American territories anti-trafficking efforts. So $20 million to attorney's fees occur in the Virgin Islands. That seems like it's a very inflated figure. I think maybe about 18 million of that will not go to the lawyers, and instead go to the Virgin Islands infrastructure, to their budget, etc. The Virgin Islands said the deal includes several substantial commitments by JPMorgan Chase to identify, report, and cut off support for potential human trafficking, including establishing and implementing comprehensive policies and procedures. There you go. And is Ghislaine Maxwell still living? You know, every time I think about Ghislaine Maxwell, I think about Epstein. Now, we know Epstein got deleted, or he died some kind of way. They say that he deleted himself, but I'm not quite sure that's accurate. And that's a whole different story. And I digress to not open the can of worms right now. But Ghislaine Maxwell is also locked up. Now, I think that she could get deleted anytime soon, at any moment. So whenever I see her, I think she's pretty much already gone. You know what I'm saying? Dead man walking. But anyway, the territory said that they paid $10 million of the money received would be used to create a fund to provide mental health services for Epstein's victims, et cetera, et cetera. Let's keep on going here. And that's Jess Staley right there. That's the guy that was friends with Epstein who visited the island, allegedly. All right. And that's pretty much the story right there. So yeah, JPMorgan, the bank, paying millions upon millions because of their association with Jeffrey Epstein. But you know, when you got money like that, I think you could pretty much just pay your way out of anything, because these people should go to prison, especially the guy, Jess Staley, who was proven to be an Epstein associate who went to the island. If that's true, he's an associate of Epstein, and he went to the island with Epstein, then come on, like, what are we talking about? All you got to do is pay money and put out a PR statement, and it's all gone. Your sins are washed away. Is that how that works? Or should there be some actual penalties for this kind of behavior? But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to accountability. I'm glad there is some accountability for this bank, where you could just, you can't just facilitate this kind of stuff and have there be no repercussions. you can't partake in this kind of stuff with no repercussions. As I said, maybe there should be some kind of criminal action, criminal penalty, but there's not. Take what you can get, I suppose. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your thoughts on JPMorgan paying the $75 million and $290 million because of their association with Jeffrey Epstein? Should there be some actual criminal penalties? Epstein went to prison. Ghislaine Maxwell went to prison. And I think many of the people on that registry, on the flight log, should also go to the penitentiary. Bill Gates, whatever his name is, maybe he should go. There should be more penalty, more punishment, more accountability. But this right here is a good start, I suppose. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.